We have already studied the key signature for F major, where a flat sign is displayed at the beginning of each line of music, and in both staffs for the right hand and the left hand. Again, the key signature is the place where musicians look first when they are playing a new piece of music, and that's where I always want to look first to know which flats I have to play, which notes are flat. And of course, what key am I in? What's my orientation? What's my position? There are many different key signatures that use flats. Here are some of them. Remember, that's really a full deck of cards that you might win a card game with. So that's why we have to be interested in knowing which ones are the flats we want to use. Of course, this is the one we're focusing on. It's the key of F, and both of the flat signs are sitting right on the B lines. And so we know that B's are flat, and in the F position, it just sounds better that way. Let's take a look at the four pieces on page 39, and all of them are in the key of F major. So you're going to want to watch the direction of the notes and the intervals, the steps and the skips if there's fourths and fifths. You want to take note if it's hands separately, right hand followed by left, or if it involves hands together moving in the same direction at the same time, shadowing each other, in which case we call that parallel motion. It looks like two of the pieces are in parallel, and the other two are hands kind of alternating with a couple patches of together playing. So let's take a minute to look more carefully at the direction of the lines and the intervals, and of course we'll keep the rhythm in mind too, always counting aloud to have a good stable pulse and the correct note values. So let's take 30 seconds to scan through each piece. We'll start with our chimes. And notice chimes begins with right hand and then left, right hand, left, right hand. So here's one where we do alternate. Notice the flat signs indicating we are in the key of F. This is the way chime sounds. And by the way, I like to use the damper pedal, the foot pedal on the right, to sustain all the tones to make it sound more chimey, as in church bells in a steeple in a grand church in Europe. 1, 2, 3, 3. And sometimes I improvise some chimes at the end. 2, 3. And it's always fun to create some chime sounds and just have fun at the keyboard that way as well. So let's take a look. The first three notes come from the F position, and here we have the notes A, F, and G. So all three notes are kind of surrounding the one we know the best, the G. As we go along, we're going to see a scrambled arrangement of those three notes. Here we start on G and go up to A and down to F. The next measure has the arrangement going in reverse, A, G, F. And the last group scrambles back to G, A, F, which was at the beginning here. So you see the composer takes three little notes and puts them in all sorts of arrangements, and therefore gets this kind of combination. Very simple. The left hand uses only one note, and that's the middle C. So you want to have your left hand thumb ready on the C. Let's take a look at the entire piece and feel the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And if you feel like it, I'm using the notes F, C, and G. Something like that to get our chime arrangement. All right, you can have fun with that and do something different there. The next piece is called folk dance, and notice folk dance, the hands are definitely in parallel motion, kind of shadowing each other. I think one of the interesting things about folk dance is the rhythm. It has the faster eighth notes moving in double time, and of course it has quarter notes and a half note at the end of each phrase to kind of slow the melody down. Listen to the folk dance. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. And you're going to want to count out loud to make sure your eighth notes are in perfect time with the quarter notes. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at how the melody notes move. We're going to start with F. And it's going to go up by steps and down. Same here. Up a step, up, up, up. And careful that finger 4 does remain on the B flat. Back to 1 on F. It goes the same direction up and down. This time it's going to skip up and skip up again. This steps down to B flat, down a skip to G and F. So there's perhaps a little more complexity in the notes. You want to get the notes down before you have to play in rhythm. Now, if we take a look at our rhythm before we play, we want it to tap something like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So if we put the intervals together with the counting, that's how we get the melody, how it's supposed to sound. Let's hear that with the right hand. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1. Here's our skips going up. 1 and 2. And we can easily take a minute to get our left hand to play. I would do the left hand separately as well, something like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. And I would work my left hand before I put my hands back together, which would sound like this. 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Here are the skips. B flat. And if you wanted to be a little more assertive, you could definitely make the tempo go faster once you're secure. Something like this. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And ultimately, that's probably the better way to play it so that it has some spirit to it. After all, it is a folk dance. Let's take a look at the next piece called Bells. Bells has mostly quarter notes. I see the right hand and the left, and some hands together, right and left, hands together. If you glance through the notes, you'll notice there's one B, which is a B flat, and in the left hand, of course, there's a B right below it. So you might want to mark a little flat sign so you don't forget where that B is, perhaps. Now, we do start with a 5 going down to F, which is 1. So right away we have a fifth interval, 5, 1, and the left hand copies with 1, 5. So you want to make sure that you do have your fifth intervals just like that lined up. So the first measure goes 5, 1, 1, 5. Notice a couple measures later it repeats the same idea, so you'll be ready for that. Measure 2 starts on a G, which is finger 2 in the right, and simply goes up by steps, including the B flat. Left hand will copy with a G, A, B flat, so together. And the last measure starts on that same G, goes up a step, but it finishes by going down a skip. You'll remember the piece wants to end on the tonic, the main tone, which is F. left hand also would copy. So G, up a step, A, and skip down to the F, the tonic. Together the hands would look. Let's hear the whole piece together and see how it sounds with both hands playing. 1, 2, 3, 4, your fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're off. And I was trying to play a sturdy forte because of the F marked in measure 1. Now, our last piece is called the waltz. And the waltz has 3 beats to the measure because it's a waltz. And so it has to dance. And oftentimes dances are in triple time. Notice all the quarter notes in the piece. So pretty much it's very consistent. We have just a couple of dotted half notes. It's a very smooth stepwise motion. Our right hand is going to start with 3. And I notice a B flat here right away. It's the same, and down another B flat. These are steps, the same. Up a step, and there's another B flat. So there are many. This goes up one more step to 5. Down a step, there's a B flat. Up. This one up to the high C, down a 4th, up a step, and down a skip. So far, I think in the music, we can actually count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 B flats. So there's several B flats. You want to always keep finger 4 glued to the note B flat so your finger is ready when you get to it. Now, at the end, high C is played by 5. We're going to go down a 4th to 2, up a step, and 1. So you want to practice that finger pattern going 5, 2, 3, 1. Try it with me. 5, 2, 3, 1. And on the keyboard, it would look 5, 2, 3, 1. Of course, your left hand, following the same intervals, would have to go 1, 4, down a 4th, up a step 3, skip down 5. So the finger pattern for the left hand at the very end goes 1, 4, 3, 5. And you can try that in the air or on the keyboard. 1, 4, 3, 5. And moving a little faster. 1, 4, 3. Both hands together will be C, down a 4th, up a step, and down a skip. Or C, G, A, F. So here's the sound of the waltz with both hands playing together in parallel motion. This is the count. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 5, 2, 3. And it can go a little more up tempo if you like. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. After all, it is a waltz, and the dancers like to move. If you lay the groundwork carefully, paying attention to your hand position, here is F, the direction of the notes, the intervals, and the counting, again, your note reading will grow by leaps and bounds. So have fun playing these pieces in the key of F major.